Tonight, thousands more forced from their homes in Alberta as the hot, dry conditions fuel wildfires.
It burnt everything in its sight. I called it the devil because this fire was crazy.
Crews fight to hold their ground while others say they're being forced to battle the flames themselves.
We want people to know that we were literally abandoned and we have every right to be upset.
A frustrating Mother's Day for bereaved families trying to pay their respects at Canada's largest cemetery.
This is disgusting.
It's holding all the people that come here to visit their families, holding everybody hostage.
And Dr. Juni helped guide Canadians through the pandemic. Now he has a new job in a new country.
How's COVID affecting your life now? It doesn't.
This is The National with Ian Hannamansing.
It is the beginning of another volatile and potentially dangerous week in Alberta. Most of the province is under the threat of wildfire with scorching hot temperatures and extremely dry conditions. That mix is sparking new flames and leading to at least 3 new evacuation orders. Now, more help has arrived, both from the military and out-of-province firefighters. But so far, the speed, scope, and distance between those flames is pushing people to their limits. Here's where things stand tonight. The red represents an extreme risk of danger, meaning new fires can spark quickly and spread even faster. Julia Wong now with the emergency unfolding on the ground and what's already making this fire season so relentless.
Crews working furiously to stamp out flames amid gusty conditions and hot temperatures. This man in awe of the fire's vengeance.
This fire came in with a purpose and it left with a purpose. Yeah, it burnt everything in its sight. Like I said, I called it the devil because this fire was crazy.
More firefighters from the United States have arrived, just as more Albertans have had to flee their communities, like the community of Kátł'odeeche. Volunteers registered evacuees late into the night.
We've just been trying our best to make people be safe and feel comfortable enough to trust us in a way, because they're kind of going through this without knowing what's next.
The seriousness of the situation not lost on anyone.
We are expecting challenging conditions to continue, and that will be the case for the next few days.
One reason the fires are burning so furiously, they're burning deep into organic matter called peat or muskeg.
So yeah, what we're walking on right now is a burned peat surface.
These burnt woods are Greg Verkuyke's laboratory. He's studying how much peat burned here after a 2021 wildfire that took about 400 days to put out. Normally soggy, peat is now drying out because of the changing climate, making it easier for fire to spread deeper.
Once fire gets into the peat, how long can it stay there for?
It can stay there for as long as it takes to either run out of fuel, so it can burn down to the mineral soil below, or until it gets enough moisture.
Meaning peat fires can burn for months on end, spreading underground like tentacles.
This is all peat in here, and that's a challenge for us.
Fighting a fire that burrows underground is a tough thing for a province already strapped for manpower.
It's an extensive labor demand to deal with peat fires and water. That peat is intensely hot, needs a lot of water to cool it off and get it extinguished.
Julie, so far southern Alberta has been spared, but there is concern that that could change.
Yeah, so I'm outside Drayton Valley, which is still evacuated because of the wildfire threat. And this is where the focus has been the last couple weeks, central and northern Alberta. But conditions are drying out in the southern part of the province. And Alberta Wildfire says that the fire danger there is on the rise, and they're moving resources to be able to respond to any fires that might erupt in that part of the province.
Okay, Julia, thank you. A few hours north of where Julia is in Drayton Valley is the town of High Prairie. It's one of several in the area that have faced waves of fires and the risk that more could be sparked at any moment. Those factors have stretched resources, forcing neighbors just south of there to come together to protect their land and their livelihoods. Aaron Collins joined them on the front line.
The flames are back in the Banana Belt, this sliver of Alberta farmland getting used to having fire on the horizon. Just a week ago, flames ripped through here, leaving devastation in their wake. Ron Anderson has been fighting hot spots on his property since then.
Low humidity, high temperature, a little bit of wind, and everything wants to burn.
Today, he has help.
This is a real community effort to get these fires out, isn't it?
No doubt. You can call and people show up. That's just, in our area, there's nobody else to call typically.
Neighbors moonlighting as volunteer firefighters. From the 84-year-old who started in his 70s.
Our old fire chief in Renilda was sick.
Yeah.
I went in to help him out.
To the first-timer, just 17.
I'm a little scared when I'm out here. Are you scared at all?
No, not really. Kind of gives me an adrenaline rush.
This flare-up out fast, but another pops up right away. This time, it's Ron's neighbor. Another hot spot has sprung up. These fires can burn underground for days, even months. The danger here now baked into the soil.
I think we all better just park at home as long as we can and fight it. I think we're in for a long battle.
Professional firefighters are here too, spread thin during this unprecedented wildfire season, unable to get to every fire burning here.
I respect that. They know what they're doing. You have to respect that chain of command. They have to go where they have to go.
This is life in the Banana Belt now, a community on edge, but still coming together, even as the fire threatens to run them out. Aaron Collins, CBC News, near High Prairie, Alberta.
The heat is also fueling wildfires burning in BC, including more than a dozen classified as out of control. A newly discovered fire north of Red Creek in northeastern BC prompted door-to-door evacuations for more than 100 homes. Most of the province's major fires are in that region, which is suffering from extreme drought conditions. And evacuations are underway at the Kátł'odeeche First Nation on the Hay River in Northwest Territories due to a wildfire that at last report was just 2 kilometers from the community.
Does it jump the boat?
And in Nova Scotia, fires burning out of control in Shelburne County on the eastern shore. Officials say it started this afternoon in Little Harbour and spread quickly. Fire crews and 2 helicopters are on the scene. The RCMP says several homes have been evacuated. This is a frustrating Mother's Day for some families trying to pay their respects at a cemetery in Montreal. It opened briefly today after being closed due to a labor dispute. But as Sarah Levitt shows us, many visitors were outraged with what happened when they got there.
This is disgusting.
It was supposed to be a chance for people to visit their loved ones on Mother's Day, but getting into Notre-Dame-des-Neiges cemetery for the first time in weeks wasn't easy, leading some to take desperate measures.
I climbed through a hole in the fence and climbed over the gate there to get back out.
Since January, the more than 100 employees who work here have been on strike, putting graveside visits and burials on hold. The final resting place for almost 1 million people with 55 kilometers of roads, it's Canada's largest cemetery. Sunday, the cemetery decided it would open one of its gates for 6 hours, but that limited access meant people had to wait hours just to get in by car. And on foot, long walks.
It's terrible. It's disgusting. And it's just awful.
For others, opening the gates for a day did nothing. Since January, the bodies of 250 people are in cold storage waiting for burial here.
My mom passed away January 27th, and she's still in the refrigerator here. There's nowhere I could go today to be near her. This is the closest place I could be.
I really get the frustration of the people. We tried everything to avoid this call that we had to make in January to go on strike. We tried everything. 4 years without a contract. It's nonsense.
That didn't matter to many who came out today with frustration and anger on full display.
It's disgusting. It's holding all the people that come here to visit their families, holding everybody hostage.
This is a private place. We paid for it. They have no right to strike.
The government says it appointed 2 mediators in the hopes of resolving this strike soon. With the gates closed again, people put flowers where they could, in the hopes that soon they'll be able to lay them next to their loved ones. Sarah Levitt, CBC News, Montreal.
Now to a pivotal presidential election unfolding in Turkey tonight, where it's still too close to call, and it appears both sides are preparing for another vote. Briar Stewart is in Istanbul with a look at what's at stake.
Throughout the day, tens of millions lined up to vote, determined to have their say in the future of Turkey.
We're gonna win. We're gonna win. This time we're gonna win.
Even in the southeast, where 3 million were displaced by one of the most devastating earthquakes in Turkey's history just 3 months ago, they came by bus to vote at polling stations where they're registered. Some still angry at the government for the rescue effort.
They live here, the people, for die. Nobody come here 4 days here for help.
But in the earthquake zone, support for Recep Tayyip Erdogan and his AK party remains strong. It certainly helped that he vowed to quickly rebuild. One of the many big, expensive promises made during a campaign to try and extend his 20 years in power. Despite Turkey's economic turmoil, his supporters believe he's still the best choice to lead the country.
Erdogan will solve it again because we try him, so we believe that he will solve this problem again.
He fought for his political life. 6 opposition parties united against him, led by former bureaucrat Kátł'odeeche. At one polling station this afternoon, there was allegations of fraud. And tonight, as the ballots were counted, distrust on both sides, along with disappointment for those hoping that change would come tonight. So what happens if Erdogan wins either tonight or in the next round?
We don't want to think about that.
We don't want to think about that.
But Erdogan supporters are already celebrating, not a decisive victory, but a political fight that's not over. Now, the opposition has accused Erdogan and his party of demanding recounts for hundreds of ballot boxes. Erdogan has accused the opposition of releasing results too early, but it does look like this is going to go to a runoff, Ian.
And Briar, this is an election that's being watched closely around the world.
Absolutely. Turkey is a member of NATO, but it has a fractious relationship somewhat with the alliance. And in fact, Erdogan had accused U.S. President Joe Biden of trying to meddle in Turkey's election. On the other hand, Turkey has a strong relationship with Russia. It has very strong trade ties, which are growing. And Erdogan has been praised for his role as somewhat of a middleman and negotiator, particularly for helping to secure the Black Sea grain deal, which was able to export grain from some of Ukraine's ports. It's not exactly clear what the opposition's foreign policy would be, but we do know that the leader had accused Russia of trying to meddle in the election as well.
Briar Stewart in Istanbul tonight. And voters in Thailand propelled opposition parties to sweeping gains tonight, ushering in the biggest political shift there since the 2014 military coup.
Hopefully it will be historical. If the voting turnout is 75% or 80%, I would be all the way to the moon.
Massive turnout did help the pro-democracy Move Forward party win the most seats, followed by the more well-known opposition party run by a billionaire family. But the opposition will need to cooperate to form government and overcome parliamentary rules written after the coup that favor pro-military parties. And back here in Canada, voters in 4 ridings will go to the polls on June 19th in by-elections that were announced today. In Manitoba, the riding of Portage-Lisker is up for grabs after the resignation of Candice Bergen, former interim leader of the Conservative Party. Winnipeg South Centre is also in play after the death of former Liberal cabinet minister Jim Carr. In Quebec, voters in Notre-Dame-des-Neiges Westmount will choose the replacement for Marc Garneau, the former Liberal cabinet minister resigned in March. And in the Ontario riding of Oxford, Conservative MP Dave McKenzie stepped down in January. Canada's spy agency is asking to meet with more sitting MPs to discuss foreign interference. As Kate McKenna tells us, that is raising more questions tonight about whether they've been threatened.
Two members of this parliament are about to learn whether they too have been targeted by foreign agents. Canada's public safety minister appeared on Rosemary Barton Live.
I think opening up and engaging parliamentarians through our security and intelligence agencies is definitely a key part of the strategy.
As first reported by the Globe and Mail, Canada's spy agency has asked to meet two MPs, former Conservative leader Erin O'Toole and NDP member Jenny Kwan.
What does that mean? Am I being targeted? If so, how so? Since when? And who knew about it? What's been done about it? And so those, of course, are very live questions.
Last week, the federal government expelled a Chinese diplomat after the Globe and Mail reported he was part of an alleged plot in 2021, trying to gather information about Conservative MP Michael Chong's family in Hong Kong, the latest in a series of stories about alleged Chinese meddling.
I do think at times that China looks at Canada as a little bit of the child that you can pat on the head.
Under intense pressure to act, a government source told Radio-Canada a plan will be tabled in the House of Commons to create a foreign agents registry. That will require anyone working for another country's benefit to declare their ties. It's a tool already used in other countries.
Certainly we're looking at models, including like the lobby registry, which has a website and a portal so that Canadians can see exactly who is participating in what activity.
That registry, I think, is really important to move forward on. But that in and of itself, I think, is deficient. I think there has to be a public inquiry.
Whether or not that public inquiry happens is up to former Governor General David Johnston. He was tapped by the Prime Minister to make the call, and he has 9 days left to make his decision. Kate McKenna, CBC News, Ottawa.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky made a surprise visit to France tonight as part of a whirlwind tour of Europe, gaining a pledge of dozens of armored vehicles and tanks. He spent the weekend shoring up more support ahead of a push to retake territory occupied by Russia. But as Mike Crawley explains, there are fresh concerns as Kyiv goes on the offensive.
On a swing through European capitals, Volodymyr Zelensky jets into Paris for dinner with the French president after meeting the German chancellor in Berlin and the Italian prime minister in Rome. In the city of Aachen, near Germany's border with Belgium, Zelensky accepts the Charlemagne Prize, awarded for work in the service of European unification.
All Ukrainians, each of our heroes deserve to stand here and to receive this award. Ukrainians will always make Europe stronger.
Meanwhile, Europe is making Ukraine stronger militarily, especially Germany. Its new pledge, worth $3 billion, means only the U.S. has given Ukraine more military aid. This is an imperialistic attack on Ukrainian territory, says German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. Peace and security in Europe are at risk. Those weapons will support Ukraine's counteroffensive to take back parts of the country occupied by Russia.
The Ukrainians are basically ready whenever they say go to launch that offensive with this equipment. Clearly that now everything focuses on the Ukrainian offensive and the Russian defense.
But with Western support comes concerns about containing the conflict. Leaked intelligence reported by the Washington Post says Zelensky proposed aggressive strikes on targets within Russia. We don't attack Russian territory, says Zelensky in Berlin. We liberate our own. Russian troops inside Ukraine get support and supplies from locations inside Russia. Analysts say that makes them logical and lawful targets, even if Ukraine's European allies aren't keen to see Zelensky take the war across the border. Mike Crawley, CBC News, Toronto.
A powerful cyclone is slamming into parts of Myanmar and Bangladesh, with millions of people in its path. The devastating situation for people already displaced.
We expect thousands of people to be homeless. We don't even have money to feed them properly.
Canada's prisons are dealing with a growing threat from above.
Insane. It's absolutely insane.
The struggle to stop drones from delivering dangerous drugs. And a message from all.
I love you. You're the best mom in the world.
Happy Mother's Day.
We're back in 2 weeks. Hundreds of thousands of people along the coast of Myanmar and Bangladesh are in desperate need tonight. They've taken the brunt of Cyclone Mocha, one of the most powerful storms to hit the region in 2 decades. And as Susanna De Silva explains, those especially at risk are among the world's most vulnerable.
Fragile homes didn't stand a chance against 200-kilometer-an-hour winds and downpours that turned streets into rivers as Cyclone Mocha slammed into Myanmar. This woman says she's still scared, never having seen a storm like this before. Thousands fled to higher ground, taking shelter in stronger buildings like monasteries and schools. The destruction also leveled parts of Bangladesh's south, where aid has begun to be distributed to those left with nothing. My house has been destroyed, this man says, along with his farm and most of the nearby houses. Also here, the world's largest refugee camp, housing 1 million Rohingya who fled persecution in Myanmar. Even before the cyclone, conditions here were difficult.
Just a couple of months ago, there was a massive fire that left 16,000 Rohingya refugees homeless. There have been subsequent fires, and now we've had this cyclone. And the monsoon season hasn't even arrived yet.
The need for aid is desperate.
We expect thousands of people to be homeless, a lot of facilities to be damaged, and money is dwindling. We don't even have money to feed them properly. So that is currently our biggest concern right now.
The United Nations says Bangladesh is one of the most vulnerable countries in the world to climate change, with more extreme storms and rising sea levels.
One of the things that I recognized is how those climate conversations didn't really focus on the stories of marginalized people.
UBC student Basha Rahman is in Bangladesh and heading to the hardest hit areas to document how climate change is impacting the country.
So at the end of the day, it goes on to the people who lost their belongings, who lost their houses, and they're having to suffer the consequences of sleeping without a roof, of not being able to afford food for the next few days.
Consequences now being felt by hundreds of thousands. Susanna De Silva, CBC News, Vancouver.
Parts of Texas are now at risk of flooding after a tornado killed at least 1 person and injured 10 this weekend.
We're very, very fortunate that it wasn't, that there was not more life lost.
A man was crushed after a tornado cut a path through the town of Laguna Heights, destroying homes and peppering streets with debris. And days of heavy rain are expected to continue, particularly in Houston, which is now under a flood warning. There are growing concerns about how prison security is being breached across the country. Drones are being used to drop drugs, weapons, and other contraband into the hands of inmates. But Eat Bright shows us how prisons are trying to stop that.
Drones are a rising concern across Canadian prisons. It's literally this easy for drugs to fall from the sky. Now, this is just a mock simulation of what it could look like, but we're about to see just how big of a problem this really is.
This is, in the last 3 to 5 years, has become insane. It's absolutely insane.
This was found crashed by the Matsqui prison in Abbotsford. So what do you think makes this similar to ones that you've seen?
Well, it's the tape, so you can see that they've got tape covering any sort of lights on the drone itself to make sure that to conceal its identity. You can see on the bottom here that this is obviously some sort of device the package was probably hooked onto to drop it. Here in the Pacific region, we're seeing multiple a week between our 9 institutions, but across the country, they're multiple a day. So it's become a daily occurrence for us.
And the drops can mean serious consequences. Last year, Randall says at the Matsqui prison, a single drop carrying fentanyl killed 1 person, saw 9 inmates overdose and taken to the emergency room, and 39 others needing medical support. This drone package was found with 13 ounces of crystal meth last fall.
It had a street value of around $7,800, and because of the supply and demand at the time, institutional value was around $180,000. Crystal meth getting into our institutions is extremely scary for everybody.
Items like that are causing debt among inmates to increase, not to mention more violence, made worse by weapons being dropped too. Hacksaw blades and ceramic knives, to name a few, also cell phones. In 2019, Correctional Services Canada committed to spending $6 million to install drone detection technology in 6 prisons. But the Union of Canadian Correctional Officers says there are huge delays. So to your knowledge, how many of the prisons have the new technology fully operating since 2019?
None. So far, they are installing the one in Donnacona, and we are still waiting for the tests.
Corrections won't say how many prisons have the technology. It says sharing their techniques to combat the introduction of contraband could create security vulnerabilities. It says we are currently working with different vendors on various methods for detecting drones. We will measure the performance of these systems and determine the potential for broader national deployment.
This camera can detect drones from pixels.
Meanwhile, this BC company, BlueVec Technology, says it's one of those vendors hoping Corrections chooses its technology.
So we call that the fingerprint of the drone. So when we can ID the make, model, and serial number, it's called fingerprinting it. Really, the secret sauce is the ability to geolocate the pilot for apprehension purposes.
20 U.S. prisons are currently using the company's device, and the hope is to one day be part of the solution in Canada. Benit Brach, CBC News, Pitt Meadows.
There is growing anger in parts of Alberta where some say help to battle wildfires is too little, too late.
We're beyond frustrated.
How some are taking on the fires themselves.
Too much at stake for us to be idle.
And the face of Ontario's fight against COVID speaks about life after the crisis. How does it feel now to be, basically anonymous?
Oh, it's wonderful.
The National takes you deeper into the stories shaping your world. Next. The deployment of about 300 members of the Canadian Armed Forces has begun in Alberta. Their help is desperately needed by so many communities that are scrambling to keep their homes and their families safe. Despite the added help, some Albertans say they're not getting the support they need. And as Lindsay Duncombe shows us, that's creating feelings of abandonment, anger, and defiance.
I'm gonna come that way across this way. Can you grab that corner of the house? Hey guys, I'm gonna get you to go this way so I can move the hose to her. Okay, come that way.
The fight is chaotic, and these Yellowhead County ranchers and farmers are on their own.
We're helping ourselves because we have to at this point. And we can't wait. The fire's not waiting for permission to put it out. Are we supposed to just sit idly by and, okay, you guys told us to evacuate. You do what you have to do, and sometimes you might get in trouble for it.
Kelsey Miller and Samantha Kátł'odeeche grew up on nearby ranches, friends since they were 5, now coordinating a network of volunteers putting out hotspots.
So how did you learn how to do this? So last week, I learned my first firefighting skills, I guess. Any inaction results in loss, and we don't want loss of life, loss of resources, loss of land, loss of our livestock. There's too much at stake for us to be idle.
Trucks fill up at Jimmy's Pond. Food and fuel donated.
If you turn around right now, you can see our army of public support coming down the road.
Businesses lend vehicles.
That's trucks from people that give a shit about Albertans in general, not just who's in power and who's got the money.
Well, we're nothing if not resilient.
Miller and Kátł'odeeche are among the many in Alberta who defied evacuation orders and stayed behind to protect their homes and livestock because, they say, no one else was coming to do it for them.
We're not beating up the firefighters and boots on the ground and the people in the skies. We are extremely grateful for each and every single one of them. We want people to know that we were literally abandoned and we have every right to be upset. And so what crews did you have on Saturday?
Miller and Kátł'odeeche confronted officials at their local fire station and streamed it live.
Humans are helping humans now. Where is the empathy here?
I believe you that you're saying you guys are frustrated, and I do understand.
We're beyond frustrated.
Across Alberta, anger is simmering.
I have farm animals that I cannot crate up and take to a hotel. They're farm animals, farm dogs, farm cats, chickens. How do you load 50 chickens into a hotel?
They're kicking people out that are helping. So why are we not allowed to help?
I understand your frustrations, I do.
Fueled by the sense governments, both provincial and local, simultaneously aren't doing enough to help and are getting in people's way when they try to help themselves.
Your response was garbage.
The anger here, the tension, and the anxiety are all playing out in the middle of a provincial election, just as Albertans are facing a decision about what kind of government they want in charge in a crisis.
The reality is both potential premiers lead parties who cut wildfire budgets when they were in power. Rachel Notley's NDP cut $15 million in 2015. In 2019, the United Conservative Party disbanded a specialized team of firefighters who rappel into hotspots from helicopters.
I wish we could have everybody everywhere that it's needed all the time, but it is part of the reason why we are calling in resources from outside the province.
It's not enough, says Wade Williams. He's the mayor of Yellowhead County.
No, I'm not satisfied with the amount of support we're getting from the province. I don't, in my opinion, the province wasn't geared up for this wildfire season when it hit.
How do you respond to residents who are telling us that they didn't get enough support from the municipal firefighters and are having to do this all by themselves?
Yellowhead County does not fight wildfires. We fight structural fires.
That's the reality in much of the country, says wildfire scientist Mike Flanagan.
Well, with 100 new fire starts, no fire management agency can deal with that many fire starts all at once.
Provincial crews, he explains, are responsible for forests or green zones. The white zones fall to municipalities, many with volunteer fire departments not trained for wildfire.
You know, fire management agencies like Alberta Wildfire do help out in the white zone when they have the resources. But what happens is very quickly they're overwhelmed and they no longer are able to help.
And that's why some ranchers find themselves on their own. They're in touch with forestry officials. Some, they say, have thanked them.
We got permission to bring in our equipment.
It's hot, dangerous, and exhausting.
By the looks of it, we're going to be doing it ourselves for the rest of the summer, and it's not okay.
Lindsay, how dangerous is it for people to be fighting fires on their own?
That's certainly a concern, and we heard over the weekend from the fire chief in Grand Prairie. He put out a plea for people to leave the firefighting to the professionals after a bulldozer nearly collided with official crews working on the fire line.
And with all the questions about deployment of resources, any sense of whether this is going to have an impact on the way people vote in the election?
I didn't get that sense from the people that I spoke to in Yellowhead County. You know, politics in rural Alberta is pretty baked in conservative. And Kelsey Miller, the woman that we spoke to in the piece, said just because people are asking for more resources and asking for more help doesn't mean that they are looking for a different premier. And politics these days everywhere really is full of wild theories. We're hearing that too. There are online social media posts suggesting that this fire was deliberately set for political purposes. That's something we've heard on the ground as well.
That is wild. Thanks, Lindsay.
You're welcome.
A little later in the show, tackling misinformation with Minecraft.
You get to go on this journey to find out who created this rumor that summer vacation is canceled.
The latest tool to teach kids how to spot what's real and what's not. It's been about a year since Canada said farewell to Dr. Peter Juni, a respected scientist who was thrust into the spotlight during the pandemic.
We still haven't tackled the main problem here. We need to address the root causes if we want to get this pandemic under control.
As head of the science table advising the Ontario government, he became known as an informed voice of reason who wasn't shy to criticize the government.
Everybody needs to help now, including the provincial government.
I spoke with him last year as he prepared for a new prestigious position at Oxford. And last week I caught up with him in London. As you'll hear, he says Ontario did much better than the UK during the pandemic, and he says the reason was how groups like the Science Table dealt with the public. Peter, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me once more.
The last time we talked, you were in Ontario. Lots of people would have known you. You were on TV, other interviews so often. How does it feel now to be like basically anonymous?
Oh, it's wonderful. You know, this was one of the big deals for us. We were just going everywhere and nobody would recognize me. It was amazing.
Well, enjoy that. But let me now take you back to the pandemic. I know you've had a chance to look at lots of statistics, lots of numbers, and tell me how the UK compared with Canada during the pandemic.
Oh, it's impressive, you know, but not in a positive way. The UK did so much worse than we did in Canada, and especially in Ontario. And I find it still mind-blowing, actually. You know, the department I'm working in is the department that coordinated the recovery trial. That's the trial that recruited more than 48,000 people meanwhile, and that gave us nearly all the answers that we needed to treat patients in the hospital worldwide. And the same country that managed to pull off this trial nationally completely failed, from my perspective, regarding COVID policies.
And you think a lot of it has to do with the lack of transparency, the lack of disclosure in Britain as opposed to Canada. Tell me about that.
Yeah, this only occurred to me actually much later, after I had stepped down as the director of the Science Table. We had this little byline in our rules and regulations that said that we would report completely transparently to the public what we would report to the government. And the science advisory body here in the UK called SAGE didn't have that. What I felt really was that my obligation towards the public was to be completely honest. If I would not do that, I should step down.
I can ask you this question now. We're sitting in London. We're a year away from your having worked and lived in Canada. Was there a moment where a cabinet minister or the premier or somebody got you on the phone and said, you know what, Peter, you need to stop talking about whatever, masking, you know, gathering in public places or whatever? Was there ever a moment like that?
I mean, there was at least one moment that I remember where Steny Brown actually had conversations. Also,
who's your boss?
That's my boss, yeah. This was my boss, was the chair of the Science Table, but Steny always held my back.
What do you think the result was of that level of openness?
If you're not completely honest with your patient, who is, you know, your partner in what you're actually deciding together, you won't have the trust, and then it won't work. And it's the same there. I mean, essentially, what was I? I was basically the family doctor of the province, no? And what could I do? I could do what I knew best. That's, I'm honest, even if it's sometimes, you know, harsh. I try to be as careful as I can, as mindful as I can, but I need to be honest. And that's what I try to do also for the province.
I originally was thinking that what you have to say about this is a lesson for us in Canada about the next health emergency, but I actually think it goes more widely than that. I think that there's a lesson here for all kinds of public agencies and public officials, but what's your sense of that in terms of what lesson is there in terms of the need for transparency?
I think if there's a real crisis, people want to hear the truth, and they want to be able to trust you, that you don't select what you're telling them. And if you don't have this sort of mutual understanding about what's happening, it won't work out, because there's a crisis.
So here in the UK, they're about to have a major public inquiry into the COVID response. Do you think we should have something similar in Canada, or at least in Ontario, which you're most familiar with?
I think it's important, you know, after major crises like that, to understand what you can learn. You know, what you did well, what you could improve for next time, how you would need to set this up if it happens again. When do you need to react? Did you react, you know, too early, too late, not long enough or too long? All of that is important.
You told me your family is kind of reluctant, your wife, I guess, about you doing this interview after you'd done so many before. Hopefully it went well for you. It wasn't too painful.
No, it was completely fine. But, you know, she still has really at least ambiguous feelings about all that. During this entire pandemic, I've been to a TV studio twice, meaning everything else happened from home. And she had 2 young kids who were living with us to look after in a house that had very thin walls, etc. I mean, it took a toll on her, but really, this is, we only realized after that how stressful for us as a family it actually had been.
How's COVID affecting your life now?
It doesn't. It was actually quite funny, you know. I couldn't start my job at my new department when I wanted because I just tested COVID positive the day I would have needed to start. We got it in the airplane about a year ago. Yeah. Well, in September it was. Yeah. But we went to Europe, we let it go, and we lived our lives again, knowing that the face of the pandemic had changed, and the pandemic, through ongoing infections, started to keep itself under control because people would have sufficient immunity to avoid major waves that would again challenge any healthcare system or result in a considerable amount of excess deaths.
Well, let's hope it stays that way, and really nice to have a chance to talk to you again.
Thank you.
You know, what's interesting about that chat is a reminder that COVID wasn't just a medical emergency, but also a kind of a public information emergency as well. And it took people like Dr. Juni to come forward and spend so much time publicly, and that too came with a cost. Next, kids say the sweetest things about Mom.
She's helpful and has a big heart.
A Mother's Day tribute in our moment. A new game from CBC Kids News is aimed at helping younger students tackle a tricky subject: what's real online and what's misinformation. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson shows us how it works.
Yep, here I am.
This video game has everything that makes Minecraft so popular: adventures, avatars, and fun building projects. But the purpose of the game, created by CBC Kids News for use in classrooms, is as much education as entertainment.
You get to go on this journey to find out who created this rumor that summer vacation is canceled. So that you have to go find your sources, you have to write your own story, take pictures, and then we have the walls, which is the focus.
The point of the game? To teach kids in grades 4 to 8 about misinformation online. It ranges from inaccurate celebrity gossip to wrong or even harmful information about health, climate change, and political events. Experts say the game is a great tool, but what's really needed is more transparency and monitoring on platforms like TikTok.
You know, young people want to be in this space. They like the vibe. They don't want to have to completely, leave it, but they were, wanting, more flags, more opportunities within the space to verify within that immersive experience.
She also says you can't start conversations too young.
I have a 6-year-old. We talk quite frequently, about the kinds of content we're seeing online.
This father of teens agrees.
I think it's more up to the parents than anybody else to kind of understand the pitfalls and dangers.
He says he still has discussions with his 18-year-old twins about questioning so-called experts on social media.
My initial fear was with them that they're going to end up actually hurting themselves when they go to the gym and they're watching a TikTok video or an Instagram post or a YouTube video about someone doing a particular exercise in the gym that is completely wrong.
I talk about...
These young journalists have some good teen-to-teen advice for their peers.
Patience is required when you're trying to really put in all your expertise into something. And if you're really passionate about a certain subject, it's really important that you understand where your sources are coming from.
This is right before you...
As they navigate the tangled world of online information that's no child's play at all. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, you're looking at a group of students from Lark Hall Academy in St. John's. And in the spirit of Mother's Day, our colleagues in Newfoundland sat down to ask them some questions about their moms. Their answers are candid and heartwarming, and tonight, their message to Mom is our moment.
It's okay. You're the best daughter I could ever ask for. I love you. when my sister doesn't listen.
What about when you don't listen?
When they don't clean up my messes. Fighting. When she sees the bills for my hockey. That she's always nice. She always cares for us. She gives me tight hugs. I love when she says yes. Like she lets us get a treat sometimes. She's helpful and has a big heart. I love you. You're the best mom ever.
I would tell her, thank you for what she's done for me.
You're the best mom in the world. Happy Mother's Day.
I mean, that's a concept for an entire channel of programming. Those kids, well, remember Art Linkletter? Some of you will. Kids say the darndest things. Anyway, lots of heartfelt messages to moms in various media today, mine on Instagram, but few of those messages as cute as those kids in St. John's. That's the National for May 14th, Mother's Day. Have a great night.